Good day, my dear students. Guys, I have come back to present another lesson for you, and I hope you are all, passionate as usual about the lessons, and you are all safe and sound staying at home. Guys, I want you to open up your books, reading and writing, okay, and go to page 127. Okay, guys, today we have grammar lesson, okay, in the writing section, and for this grammar lesson we have, past of be meaning is are or was and were, simple past, affirmative statements. Okay, so let's start with past of be. Okay, so we mean was and were. Okay, use the past of be to identify and describe people and things in the past. Okay, so this is, how we use, the past of be. Affirmative and negative statements. Look at these guys. I'm sure you all know all of these, but this is like a revision. Okay, to bring all of these information to your mind, again. We have subject, the be verb, and plus not because it's negative, and the rest of the sentence. Okay, I was happy in Hong Kong. Okay, I wasn't, for example, at the outdoor market. Okay, see, one of them is affirmative or positive, the other one is negative. You were, happy in Hong Kong. We weren't in the public garden. Okay, they were at the outdoor market. They weren't happy in Hong Kong. Okay, look at the singular subjects. Okay, guys, he was in the public garden. She wasn't at the outdoor market. It was, at the outdoor market. It wasn't in the public, garden, for example. Okay, this is how we use, was and were, both in positive and negative, forms. You can contract negative statements. Okay, the contraction is, when we add not. Okay, we can also, omit the O and, write down an apostrophe instead of the O. Okay, this is how we contract it, make it smaller. Contracting is to make something smaller. And let's go to the question. We have yes and no question. Okay, for example, was the apartment expensive? Yes, it was, or no, it wasn't. Were the streets safe? Yes, they were. No, they weren't. Okay, what about information questions? Okay, when you ask for information. Who was the writer? Charles Dickens was the writer. Charles Dickens is a British, writer who lived in the 18th century. Okay. What were the questions about? They were about, cities. Where was the museum? Okay, this is asking for information. It was near the park. So this was information question. Okay, we add the WH. Who for a person, what for something when you ask, about something. Where is when you ask about the location of something. Guys, I want you to turn the page, and we have another part of okay, my dear students, on page 128 we have another part of our grammar lesson, okay, which is simple past affirmative statements or positive statements. You all know what simple past is. Okay, we simply, add ed for regular, okay, regular verbs. We add ed. But for irregular verbs like these, okay, they have their own form. Okay, for example, go, went, see, saw, have, had, buy, bought, for example. Okay, as it is said in this, tip. Guys, here says the simple past describes completed actions in the past. Okay, something happened, way back. The simple past verb form is the same for all subjects. Okay, we add ed. Last summer we visited Miami. My cousins welcomed us into their home. The train stopped at the station, for example. Okay, like this. But we have some tips, okay, on how to add this ed. Okay, because adding ed is different from one verb to another verb. Okay, the first tip, this is the first tip, the second tip, the third tip, and the fourth, tip. The first one is add ed after most verbs. Okay, add d after verbs that end in e. Okay, traveled, walked. Okay, we simply add ed, no problem. Okay, but when the verb ends in e, okay, like this, welcome, improve, we only add d. Okay, we can't add another e. Okay, double e is impossible. Okay, that can't be done. It is incorrect. Okay, that was tip number one. Tip number two, if a one-syllable verb ends in vowel plus consonant, double the consonant and add ed. Okay, guys, look at this example. Okay, I want to explain this example. This is a verb. Okay, it ended in a consonant, but before this consonant we have a vowel. So that's why we double this consonant. Like this, we double it because we have a vowel before the consonants. Okay, so that's why we doubled the consonants. Plan, planned. Stop, stopped. Okay, do you see the double? That was tip number two. Tip number three, sometimes we have a verb that ends in y. Okay, and before the y we have a consonant like this. Study, this is study. Okay, before the y we have a consonant, so that's why we change the y into I, then we add ed. Studied, tried. Okay, that's important to know. The last tip, if a verb ends in y, but this time before the y we have a vowel. Okay, in this example we had a consonant, but in this example we have a vowel. Okay, a is a vowel, so we don't change y into I. No, we simply add ed. Okay, played, stayed. Okay, I hope you guys understand this. The difference is here before y we have a consonant, but here before y we have a vowel. When we have a vowel we do not change it into I, but when we have a consonant we change it into I, then we add ed. Thank you very much for this. Okay guys, we finished the grammar. Now we have exercises. As you know, after each grammar in a unit, okay, we have some exercises about that grammar. Okay, exercise A says complete each sentence with was, wasn't, were, weren't. Okay, so let's start with number one. The city was very clean. There wasn't any trash in the streets. Okay, so we used wasn't. Okay, so when you add was or wasn't, you have to pay attention to the meaning of the sentence. Okay, guys, because if you use was here it would be incorrect. Okay, if you use was here it would be incorrect. Okay, because the meaning, you will ruin the meaning. That's why you should use wasn't. Number two, the sky was clear and blue. The air wasn't polluted. Okay, do you see how I did this one? Number three, the taxi was very expensive. Next time I will take a bus. Okay, I used was because the taxi is a singular subject. Sky is singular. Okay, and number four, the residents, this one is plural. Do you see the S? The residents weren't worried about crime. The city was safe. Okay, so I will leave the other ones for you guys to finish. Thank you, and let's go to activity B. Guys, this is a paragraph about Dubai. Okay, this is a picture of Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. As you can see in the picture, it has many tall buildings, and it's a wonderful city in the United Arab Emirates. Okay, UAE. And this paragraph, okay, guys, it says, so you have to use simple present and put these verbs, do you see, in parentheses, put these into the blanks. Okay, I did some of them. Okay, like Dubai is a very impressive modern city. It has, I used has, okay, because it is it. And I used is because Dubai is singular. It has some of the tallest buildings in the world, and the shopping malls, hotels and restaurants are all very new and expensive. Okay guys, I left the other blanks for you as a homework, so you now know what to do. And we have another part of activity B. Okay, we have another paragraph. Okay, this one is also about Dubai, but this time you use simple past. You use past. Okay, you put these verbs into the blanks, but you using past tense. My wife and I moved to Dubai in the United Arab Emirates last year. My first impression of Dubai was, okay, good. The people were very welcoming. Okay, the people. That's why I used, were. When you see be, you have to think of was, were. Okay? And the other ones is homework for you. And we have activity C. This activity, guys. This is question. Okay, we make up questions. But first we have to order the words. Okay? We have to order the words to, make up a complete, question sentence. Look at the first one. Was it hot yesterday? The question mark. Okay. And number 2. Were people friendly? Again, with question mark. Guys, do not forget the question mark. This is very, very important. And I left the other 2 for you to order the words and, make up questions. Okay. I hope you understood how to do this one on page 129. Guys, and now you can turn the page. And we have another, my dears, on page 130, we have another grammar lesson, okay? And that is identifying fragments and complete sentences. Identifying meaning selecting, okay? Pointing, at something that is identifying. So let's start with the complete sentence. Complete sentence needs a subject and a verb. The subject is who or what the sentence is about. The verb tells what the subject does or what the subject thinks, feels, or is. To review simple sentences, okay, use Unit 1, page 13. Okay, to review simple sentences. We studied that a long time ago. Look at this example. The city is old and beautiful. Okay, the city, this is the subject, is, this is the verb. Okay, the residents enjoy the city parks. So this is the subject and this is the verb. No problem here. But we have another type of sentence, and that is sentence fragment. Sentence fragment is not a complete sentence. Okay, because in some cases there's no subject. In some other cases there's no verb. Okay, look at these sentences. She's interested in history. This is a complete sentence. But is interested in history. We don't have any subject, okay? No subject here. So this one is sentence fragment because there's no subject. Look at the second example. The residents relaxed in the park. Okay, this is a complete sentence. But look at this example. The residents in the park. We don't have a verb. Okay, so this one is a sentence fragment. So the idea of sentence fragment is we have, some words, okay? They look like a sentence, okay? But there is no subject or there is no verb. Always check your writing and ask, does the sentence have a subject? Does the sentence have a verb? Identify and correct any sentence fragments, okay? In your writing, when you write. Let's go to the exercises. So this is, how you're going to have a better understanding of sentence fragment and complete sentence. Read the sentences about the city of Boston. City of Boston is in the USA. Underline the subjects and circle the verbs. Some sentences may have more than one subject or one, verb. Look at the first one. My family and I went to Boston 4 years ago. My family is the subject. I is also the subject. Went is the verb. Do you see it, in a circle? Look at number 2. Boston is the subject. I underlined it. Is, the verb, and a very historic, city. This is a description, okay, of Boston. Look at, number 3. We, the subject, visited, the verb, many historic buildings in the downtown area. Okay, so your job is to underline the subjects and circle the verbs. Do the other ones, guys. It is very easy, very, very, very easy. Okay, I want you to go to the next page. Activity. Okay, guys, for activity B, okay, it says read each sentence, write C, okay, if it's a complete sentence, or F if it's a fragment. Okay, so your job is look at the sentences. Okay, if the sentence has a subject and a verb, you should write C. But if the subject, you know, doesn't have a subject or a verb, okay, you should write F. Look at number 1. The city very modern with some fantastic skyscrapers. Guys, skyscrapers are very tall buildings. Very, very tall buildings. Do you see any verb here? Of course no. No verb. So this is a fragment. Look at number 2. It has a strong economy and good public transportation. This is the subject and this is the verb. So it's a complete sentence. Okay? No problem here. Look at number 3. The pollution not too bad during my visit last year. Do you see any verb here? We have the subject. I know, but do we have any verb? No, there's no verb. So that's why it's a fragment. Number 4. Enjoyed going to the farmer's market. Okay, who enjoyed this? So there's no subject. No subject, so it's a fragment. Guys, I am sure you can do, you know, the other ones. That's a homework for you. And now go to exercise C. Okay, so your job here is to correct the fragments in activity B. So you have to do all of these, then choose 4 fragment sentences and correct it here. Okay, for example, I corrected number 4. Okay, number 4 here doesn't have a subject. Okay, no subject. But here I added a subject for number 4. I added I. Okay, you can use we as well. Okay, I enjoyed going to the farmer's market. Okay, so I corrected number 4. And it is your job to correct other fragments and write them down here, add, you know, a subject or a verb for them. For example, another fragment, the first one. The city very modern with some fantastic skyscrapers. We don't have a verb here. Okay, so you can take this and write it down here, and you can add was. The city was very modern with some fantastic skyscrapers. Okay, that is the idea of this exercise. And my dear students, this is how we conclude today's lesson. And for your unit assignment, we will study and explain that in detail next lesson. And I would like to tell you to prepare this. Okay, it is very easy. Prepare it, read it, and think about it. Okay, think about this and see if you can find the answers of these questions. And next lesson we will explain this in detail. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Thank you very much for listening and watching. I hope you will all stay safe and happy at home. And until another lesson, I have my warmest regards for you guys and your respectful families. Thank you very much.